Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. It says Bitcoin's price was rejected from levels close to 10,000 US dollars on the 11th of June. The attempt to break above the critical level came after a period of consolidation between 9,300 and 9,900. A weekly high was reached. It was 9,776, creating the framework for somehow expected losses. A reversal saw Bitcoin break below several support areas, including 9,600 and 9,400. The bearish leg extended towards 9,000, but the fall was cushioned by the buyer congestion at the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement level, taken between the last swing high of 10,429 to a swing of 8638. A minor recovery has already occurred on Friday during the Asian session. However, Bitcoin is yet to hit levels at around 9,500 at the time of writing. Bitcoin to the US dollar is dodgering, okay, at 93.32 while flirting with the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement level. For those of you who did not pay attention or simply were unaware of what took place yesterday, all of a sudden we had another huge dip in Bitcoin's price. A lot of people have, every single time we have a dip in price, people are always going to try and figure out exactly why the price went down, because it's Bitcoin or any other market pretty much out there. If the price goes down, people are going to try and figure out why. So as it stands right now, the news that we have and what it appears to be, it says U.S. stocks closed mixed on Wednesday after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell provided guidance around the central bank's economic outlook. Powell said 19 could result in permanent economic damage, but also signaled further stimulus efforts. The Fed expects to keep interest rates near zero through 2022, which we went over yesterday, and maintain its recent pace of bond buying. What's surprising, here's what someone said, and I now explain in a second. They said, and I quote, "What is surprising is that on the heels of a V-shaped recovery indicator, the Fed sees structural fragility in the U.S. economy." This was said by Mike Lovengart, Managing Director of Investment Strategy Fund at E-Trade. Powell made it clear that he will continue to rely on his full range of tools to keep the U.S. economy healthy as jobs and inflation continue to come under historic pressure. Where do I even start to think of beginning? Remember about a month or two ago, we kept on having all this news that people who were unaware of how the economy actually worked, that the economy would do this, it would trend sideways, it would slam down, and we'd have a V-shaped recovery, which we did. The issue is that that recovery was completely falsified, because it was just, once again, we've gone over this before, governments were printing money and buying stocks, bonds, equities, commodities, whatever name you want to give to them, in an effort to keep these markets propped up. And at the same exact time, the only stocks that were doing well happened to be, just tech stocks. And that's it. At the same exact time, I think yesterday we just got the jobless reports. I think there are now currently 44 million people within the United States alone. 44 million. That's an obscenely high number. That's not even like a slightly normal number. That number, the last time, I think it was 1 out of every 4 people before that we had heard on the news were without jobs. And once again, these are the people who are eligible to be able to actually apply for unemployment. And I think the rise up in price of part of the stock market happened when I think, do they even have the numbers here? I saw it yesterday and it was absolutely insane. The idea that I think 2 million people or something like that were able to go back to their jobs. Still, more people on the other side. It actually still rose to 44 million people without jobs. And I think the jobless figures that they were expecting, round figure, were around like 5%, and I think it came out to like 4.95. Like, it was something as minuscule as that. And that for some reason has caused the markets to rally. So any idea of us having a V-shaped recovery or even a very long U-shaped recovery are just simply things that are not going to happen. The market's fragility is showing in so many different ways. It's very, very odd that you have major economists and other, the Fed, the IMF, the World Bank, all saying and all indicating that they wholeheartedly believe that we are going to be in this mess for the next 2 to 3 years economically. It's just complete nonsense. So to finish this entire thought off, what it appears to be is that right now, until we get news that it was either BitMEX or Coinbase, it appears as though the cryptocurrency market reacted to this news that the stock markets were going down. Once again, this is probably also just the word isn't falsified move. Crypto isn't correlated to any other market. It may be a very risky market, but every single time that stocks go down for crypto to go down, this actually doesn't really make a lot of logical sense, as it were. I think it's more of an excuse for prices to go down, especially as we've been getting calls the last couple of days, people talking about the market has to go down, the market has to go down. I'm not sure who all these fantasy living people are who believe that every single time that Bitcoin goes up by $300-400 that it seemingly has to fall back down. And also a lot of people found this dip in Bitcoin's price bullish. Sure. It says the tech-heavy NASDAQ, which closed at a record high on Tuesday, continued to gain. The increase was led by the FANG stocks. They are Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. The heavily weighted group has outperformed the broader market since the late March market bottom. It's these stocks that are dragging they're the only thing that's dragging the market up right now. And it's because they have found a way to do well during all of this madness. But they are not the entirety of the market. That's part of the issue. Anyway, so I assume as of right now, the excuse that we are going to receive and have received right now is that the wider cryptocurrency market fell because of stocks falling, which once again still makes no sense, however you deem to look at it. And also, I guess we're back to the old tricks, because I saw about 15 different websites releasing articles like this. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says XRP nosedives below key support. Here are key turning points. Literally about 15 different websites all talking about only that XRP had dropped in price, it had lost support, it was losing this, it doesn't look good for XRP. And XRP was one of the actual lower or higher downs, if that makes any sense. XRP was down around 3%, while other coins were down around 4 to 7%. I don't understand the fascination that people still have with XRP. If you don't like it, just leave it alone. These are grown people writing these articles and who are desperate to try and make sure that XRP just has a negative spot in the news. Anyway, that's news. And let's move on. Also in the news, Ripple has said it has signed 28 new production contracts for its XRP remittance platform in the first quarter of 2020. The San Francisco payment startup CEO Brad Garlinghouse revealed the numbers during a virtual in-house meeting released on YouTube. According to Garlinghouse, the company beat expectations for new XRP client acquisitions and began to see a slowdown in transaction volume in March as the economic impact of 19 took effect. He said, "We saw that about an 85% increase in volume across RippleNet between quarter 4 and quarter 1, despite ending March with a slowdown in growth." That's way too much text to read. In response to the global economic slowdown, Ripple will reduce the number of new hires it makes for the remainder of the year. The company had expected to end 2020 with a total of 575 employees and now has 515. Wonderful. So this still, it's very, the word isn't vague. It's just kind of, we rarely now get a lot of Ripple and or XRP news. And when we do, it's fairly good, I want to say, but it's still not the same level as to which they used to release news before. 28 new XRP contracts is absolutely insane. We never, and I assume it has to do a lot with NDAs. non-disclosure agreements between major companies. It could be a million and things. It usually is, we are planning on using something. We don't want other people to know that we're using something, and therefore let's keep it hush-hush so that we can profit from it first. I assume, maybe, logically, as the year trickles on, we will receive news every now and again of who the new 28 XRP contracts are for, which companies or which banks or remittance services. Anyway, I mean, it's fascinating. We don't hear from them, as like I said, as much as we used to, but they're still chugging along. Let's move on. Sure, why not at this point news? Coinbase is looking at opening its doors to a range of new digital assets, and the speculation is having an effect on their value. It would appear investors are valuing Coinbase's digital asset framework when looking at potential listings for the exchanges, as most assets are up between 8 to 25%, with an average of around 17%, according to data from Masari. Keep Networks Keep token saw the greatest spike, with its price rising to around 44 cents. The 19 coins that they are thinking of potentially adding to their platform include Aragon, Aave, or Aave, that is AAVE, Bancor, Filecoin, Origin Protocol, Ren, and VeChain. And apparently there's also Arweave, Comp, Digibyte, Horizon, LivePeer, NuCypher, Numeraire, Render Network, Scale, that is SKALE Network, and Synthetics. They said our decision to support any asset requires significant technical and compliance review and may be subject to regulatory approval in some jurisdictions. As part of the process, customers can expect to see public-facing application program interfaces, or APIs, and other such signs while the exchange conducts engineering work to potentially support these assets. For those of you who don't know, people figured out in 2017 and 2018 that Coinbase was going to be adding new coins because they simply went through their website and found, it was the first one that popped up was for XRP, and then Coinbase denied it and then eventually added XRP. And I think 3 other coins were also found on the actual user interface if you clicked in the right area, or like even like if there was like an imaginary box here, just imagine, and you clicked on it, you would actually be taken to another page. It was very, very weird, but it's also very Coinbase-y. And this is how people usually found out that they were going to be adding new coins. Coinbase would say no, and then 2 weeks later they would say, hey, surprise, look at what we're gonna be adding. The Coinbase effect, or the announcement of a potential listing of digital assets, has proved cumbersome to some projects in the past, with assets often rising in value before dumping shortly after the listing has been confirmed. And that's simply because Coinbase just keeps adding every single coin. And I'm going to be honest with you, and you should probably be honest with yourself. You've either never heard of these coins, you're never going to use these coins, or these coins, I assume maybe 1% of people out there have actually heard of these, have them, or are using them. So that's why normally the Coinbase effect back in 2017 was that every time that Coinbase breathed near a crypto, its price would rise dramatically, just off of basic speculation that it would be a brand new coin on their platform. But now what happens is that people know, typically, that the price will skyrocket and then slam back down because no one uses these coins. Here's the actual blog post right here. These are the potential coins that they're thinking of adding. Sure. I think probably the most popular being Digibyte, VeChain, Filecoin, which is never spoken about before, Aragon, which is also not spoken about, and maybe Bancor. And once again, in 10 years, none of you will probably be using any of these coins, neither will you own any of these coins. Just giving you a bit of a heads up. But of course, this is very popular news. Anytime that Binance or Coinbase decides to add new coins, it is a huge event. And the prices of a lot of these coins did go up, but I think a lot of them are already going back down. And even more so with the push down that we had in the market a couple of hours ago. Of course, that's just how things happen. Anyway, that's the Coinbase new coins news. And let's move on. Next up, Bakkt, the crypto subsidiary of the Intercontinental Exchange and the trading arm of Galaxy Digital, have tied to offer joint services to the institutions in trading and storing digital assets. Announced on Wednesday, the company will offer a white glove Bitcoin trading service to asset managers and institutions, along with the facility to store or the possibility of storing their assets. Okay. And the partnership, Galaxy Digital will facilitate market access and trading capabilities for the clients, while Bakkt will be responsible for offering crypto custody on Bakkt Warehouse, the same platform it uses to offer physically settled Bitcoin futures. They said, we designed this partnership to serve the uptick in demand our two firms have received from traditional asset managers seeking to access physical Bitcoin. This was said by the head of sales at Galaxy Digital. Kind of weird that people are trying to access physical Bitcoin and simply don't just get it somewhere else. So yeah, this was also relatively popular news. It says right here, institutional demand for Bitcoin is skyrocketing recently. It's not recently. It's been happening a very long time. It's just that we have now been made aware of it. It happened with that, what's his name? Tudor Paul Jones or Paul Tudor Jones. Can't remember the ordering of his name. That for some reason was the thing that everyone needed to hear. Since that person announced about a good 3 or 4 weeks ago that he saw benefits in Bitcoin, apparently everyone's like, oh yeah, we've been in Bitcoin for years. It's now the greatest institutional man-made thing ever man-made. And now everyone's slowly or rapidly getting into it. But we've gone over the news. We know that they've been in it for a very long time. I think this is simply just the second of 3 steps. It's now the everyone else trying to get in as rapidly as possible, trying to buy OTC or over the counter to try not to rattle the markets and or skyrocket prices as they are, buying up as much Bitcoin as possible. The phase 3 takes a lot longer to actually get to. It's when Bitcoin's price is in the mid-range 6 figures, and the last people who only believe in buying gold then realize they have to make the shift. They continue to buy up the last fragments of Bitcoin, and this causes Bitcoin's price to shoot into the stratosphere. And these are the latest adopters. We are now in the midway point. We don't have, I was going to say we don't have much longer left. It's going to take 10 more years for this entire thing to come full circle. But it is what it is. So the news is Bakkt and Galaxy Digital are going to be offering Bitcoin to rich people. Wow. All right, let's move on. Next up, China is losing its dominance over the Bitcoin mining industry, according to analysis published today by crypto analytics firm Token Insight. Token Insight cites data from Cambridge University's Center for Alternative Finance, which estimates that the overall electricity usage of Bitcoin from China has fallen from 75% to 65% by the end of April. Cambridge's estimates provide a rough indication of the hash rate produced by China. The hash rate is the overall computational power that secures the Bitcoin blockchain. In the same time frame, Cambridge's data shows that electricity consumption from Bitcoin miners in the US has risen from 4% to 7.24%. Bitcoin mining in Kazakhstan also appears to have boomed, rising from 1.4% to 6.7% of the hash rate. Wow. Su said that China's dominance over the Bitcoin mining industry will continue to fall due to price fluctuations and last month's Bitcoin halving. A greater portion of miners in China shut down their rigs compared to the rest of the world. This, for some reason, made like mega headlines all over the place. I think the news being that we've known for a while now that China has had control over a majority of the Bitcoin mining space, hash rate, whatever kind of words you want to use. We've also seen before in the past that China has also lost its grip on the hash rate and the numbers were going down. And then it kind of resurges once again. The idea is right now that apparently a lot of the older machines have been taken offline. I'm just going to assume they're probably going to buy newer machines to be able to continue to make money. But then also, it's only logical that we would see a boom in Bitcoin mining in other places around the world. You know, logically, you are able to plug in a machine and have it create money for you. It is deflationary money, so this is also an even larger incentive to be able to get into it. Sure, I give it 6 months. Let's say November, October. I assume we're going to have some type of news all over again that China's once again dominating. If I was a country and I knew that my country was dominating Bitcoin mining, I'd probably do everything I could to make sure that we were the greatest, because it's Bitcoin. If it's 9,000 right now and it's going to go to 450,000, why would I not make sure that we are at the forefront of all of that? Anyway, that's the mining Bitcoin news, Cambridge falling numbers news for today. I think she's drinking a martini. Anyway, let's move on. And to finish things off, finishing off the sure why not news, 6 years on from the publication of its original white paper, Filecoin has launched an incentivized testnet. 6 years, testnet, designed to test the network in realistic conditions. 6 years later, aiming to build a decentralized file storage network, Filecoin carried out a $250 million ICO in 2017, the largest ICO at the time. It was also the first ICO to be launched with the approval of the SEC under a SAFT agreement, the Simple Agreement for Future Tokens. Wow. According to an official press release from the 10th of June, Filecoin will now begin a 3-week incentivized test phase. Miners will be given the chance to compete for rewards totaling 4 million file tokens. Wow. Filecoin's unique proof of space-time consensus algorithm measures mining power in the form of the amount of empty hard drive space a user commits to the network. In this way, the process is similar to proof of stake, except storage space is pledged to the network instead of tokens. They said the top 100 miners globally, as well as the top 50 miners from each continent, will earn Filecoin rewards based on how much storage they dedicate to the network, combined with how much storage space the network achieves during the test period. Right. It says it marks the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, for a project which was first conceptualized in 2014. 6 years later, they now have a testnet. Sure. A lot of people, I remember when Filecoin was first spoken about. It was Filecoin. Oh gosh, what were the other ones? All the other coins that don't even exist anymore that no one cares about. I saw this and I was like, what? That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in the entire world. I feel like just, what's that song? Let It Go. I mean, just really at this point, there are so many other coins and projects that already are doing what Filecoin is trying to do. And also, I think this is me personally, this is myself. Years ago, the idea and concept of Filecoin was quite interesting. There are multiple other blockchains that do the exact same thing, and we've gotten to the point where with updates and side chains, they can all Filecoin themselves as well. So, 6 years. 6 years, $250 million. 6 years, $250 million, 2017, testnet. 6 years. I mean, it's just, wow. 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 So that's the Filecoin news for today. Good luck to them. Let's see if they are in the news in another 6 months, and also if Coinbase decides to list them. Just being honest. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Bolero Bastos, Crayola Michelle, URL. On Crypto with Lino, Tigara Machonisa, Bake Me a Cake, Arfmedic 17, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Paxis, Vlad the Impaler, Richie Rich III, Nick Kanaya, Setsuna, Damien, Nicholas Renorth, One Piece, One Love, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Adobo, Bankroll Network, Crypto Joe, 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Master Ventures in Thailand, Moher Maroney, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, A Bibliophobia, The Animal Reader, John Sarson, Nostromo, Chongololo, Songololo, Martin Stoyer, Joshua Vineyard, The Pothead, Moonman High, XRP, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, Oscar Maldonado, and Professor Wally from Gunbot University. Thank you all very, very much for your support to T. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone for the support on the new channel, and thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. At the momento, Bitcoin is currently at 94.53. It is down by 3.68%. It looks like it's trying to trend back up. There's no real reason for any actual drop in price. Once again, I know how many times I have to say that over the course of the couple of months. I think that this entire 19 thing has been a very easy excuse to say that this is why Bitcoin fell, or the stocks are falling, so Bitcoin also has to fall. It's just a very easy way, in my eyes, for whales behind the scenes to kind of time their crashes or thrashes or movements downward and say, well, I mean, you know, the price was going to fall eventually so that they can accumulate more. Because as it stands right now, with all the news that all the rich people are buying up as much as possible, there's probably not a lot of the major crypto assets really floating around there anymore. A lot of the, Digibyte is still slightly up. Where are the other soon to be on Coinbase coins? Well, they're all red now. Anyway, that is definitely going to do it for this video. Is today? Wait for it. It's Friday. Have a happy Friday, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.